And so he made the host club for that purpose. And I think each of them, in their own way, has something that makes them a little different, something that makes them stand out in a way, and they're looking for a place to be accepted. And so I think that's what drew each of the hosts. Kyoya as well, for different reasons. I mean, he doesn't have a really great family life either.
No.
You know?
No, it's very cold. And I think, you know, on the surface, Kyoya and Tamaki seem very, very different. But that's what makes them work, because they balance each other out wonderfully. Kyoya is kind of grounded. He's sort of 2 feet on the ground sort of guy, while Tamaki's head's in the clouds. And they kind of meet somewhere in the middle, and they make a really perfect, you know, that friendship works because Kyoya just happens to be the sort of person who's loves to watch crazy people wear themselves out. But I mean, but deep down they're coming from very similar backgrounds, especially with regards to their family. I think the episode where they address that in the show, where you see Kyoya's backstory a little bit, and the first time he meets Tamaki, you can see that Kyoya is frustrated because at first I think he sees Tamaki as absolutely nothing like him, but slowly has to accept, oh my God, we're a lot more alike than I care to admit, and it drives him crazy.
When I do panels and people ask about Oran, I always say that my favorite episode is that one. I think it's called When He Met Him.
And then Kyoya met him or something.
The whole
like that.
backstory with how Tamaki and Kyoya became friends and struck up a friendship. I loved that episode because you find out so much more about where these guys came from and, you know, how they became the people that they are now and why they're doing the things they're doing. I love that. That was great.
Yes, I concur.
And you have a request. Come on, Tamaki, we have a paying customer.
Are we gonna? Yes, sir. Are we gonna do it together? All right, come up here. You're Morgan, aren't you? Say hi to Morgan.
Hi, Morgan.
If memory serves, this is Morgan's birthday present too. By the way, she's here for her birthday, right? All right, turn around. Do you know your lines?
Yes.
You sure?
Yes.
All right, here we go.
I don't think I can. If I drink this, I think my father will yell at me.
But what if I let you drink it from my mouth?
Drink it!
Don't get scared. Her dad is right in the front row.
Your dad died on stage.
Yeah. I need an adult. I need an adult.
Stranger danger.
You want to pick a question?
Yes. Let me pick one. Let's see. Go toward the back. All the way in the back. Waving hand.
Yes, you with the thing on your arm.
Yes. You with the thing on your arm. Oh, it's a plushie. It's a plushie of... Right. Okay, go ahead. What's your question, sweetheart?
Loaded question. I'm just going to break in right now because this is a difficult question. I'm going to say I, as Kyoya, totally approve of Haruhi and Tamaki together. I mean, that's clearly his motivation at the end.
Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious in the whole show. Tamaki's crazy about her. He doesn't quite know how to show it, so he does the whole daddy thing, and right? But, I mean, goodness gracious, they jumped into the water together at the end of the show, right? I think, I was always teasing Caitlin, because Caitlin, she's a Kyoya man. She loves Kyoya. She plays Haruhi. And so, like, the actress, Caitlin, is like, I want to end up with Kyoya. And I'm like, but Haruhi ends up with me. This can't work, you know? And so I can't imagine Haruhi with anyone but Tamaki. Maybe I have a limited imagination, but that would be my answer. I'm sorry.
They're made for each other. They're absolutely made for each other. Let's see. Toward the middle right there, madam with the... Yeah, you just pointed to yourself doing that. Awesome. Oh, I think you know? No, Kyoya is more in terms of his role within the host club, he is more, he's almost like a bouncer or the bookkeeper. I mean, he really is, if he's with a client, you know, he's too, the thing is, I don't believe he would put himself in a situation where he is cordoned off with just one person, because his job is to go around. One of his key interests in the host club is the insight it gives him into how everyone else ticks, so he can make little notes about them in his little black book. So he's always going to be standing on the outside going, oh, interesting, yes, okay, so you like coffee, okay, and you like this. And that's just so who he is. So I think he's one of the members of the host club who's kind of unavailable.
Now, wasn't there a scene in like one of the very first episodes where he was like all up on Haruhi? Remember, right?
It was, yes,
right?
yeah.
Wasn't
The beach house episode.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
But
I remember watching that episode going, Kyoya.
That was the first episode of the show I ever saw, because I was working as an adaptive writer on the series along with Monica Real, who plays Renke. Love Renke. And I had to do some time coding on that episode, and so they just kind of handed me the episode, said, here, just time code this for Monica, and then you'll be working with her later down the road as an adaptive writer, da-da-da-da. And I'm watching this episode, which is like episode 8, I think, and it's where they go to the beach, and it's the, you know, Kyoya, like, hey, let me teach you a lesson, Haruhi, with my shirt off episode. And I'm watching it, and up until like that moment in the bedroom, you know, where he turns the lights down, and it's like, you know, I'm watching this going, oh, this is a fun, cool, cute show. I'm gonna like, what the hell is going on? And that moment actually is what really drew me to the character of Kyoya, because I mean, and I had no idea what to expect, but I mean, I knew this show was coming down the wire soon enough that we'd all be auditioning for it, or hopefully. And it's rare that I know anything about a character before I go into audition, because it's hard. You don't want to fall in love with something that you're not going to get, right? And we've all been there, so I've learned to just keep myself blissfully ignorant of what's coming down. And but I knew the show because I was working on it as a writer, and thought, God, I really like this character because of that scene where he's just... I mean, but you see it at first, you're like, oh my God, he's a rapist. Oh my God, he's a rapist. Yeah. Oh my God, I don't like him at all. But then he kind of is like just sitting there, and you see, oh wow, okay, he's just teaching her a lesson, and then he says something like, you know, interesting notion in its own way, and walks off after Tamaki breaks. And that's a very complicated scene emotionally. There's a lot of things going in his head that I think, you know, he's not ready to deal with. And that was when I'm like, my God, he's so fascinating. I have to play him. And I was nervous as hell auditioning because of that scene. Really, really made me want to play him.
And for you parents in the room, nothing happened.
No. Oh God, nothing happened. Nothing happened at all.
You know, just in case you're wondering,
Why have I been letting you watch this show?
Oh my God, yeah, no. It's very, very safe. But there is a scene where he's like, you know, he tries to put the moves on her just to teach her a lesson about being too forthcoming. And it's, you know, it's a difficult lesson, and it's questionable whether or not his means of teaching her were the best. But it's complicated, and the exchange between them, I think that's when you first realize that Kyoya looks at Haruhi as an equal, I think. That's when he begins to see her as the flip side of his own coin. And so I love that episode. But yeah, to answer your question, I don't think Kyoya is really all that much into the Playboy thing. He's more interested in watching everyone else do it, because he's the kind of guy that sits in the corner and takes notes.
And you know, it's funny that you mentioned about falling in love with a character before you get to even audition. That's exactly what happened to me with Tamaki. Those of you that may have ever heard that story, Caitlin told me about Ouran High School Host Club months and months and months and months before the show was even licensed. Which means that we might not have even gotten the show. Had Funimation not gotten the show, none of us would have been in it.
True.
But, and I made the mistake of kind of falling in love with Tamaki and very interested in the show before it was even licensed. So there was that big fear that you would get your hopes up to get to play a character and then just never even get the chance to be a part of it. So, John, you want to pick a question?
I concur. Oh, I'm sorry, question, yes. Oh, yes, you right in the middle. No, right in the middle with the hat. Because you have a hat. Yes. I can't see as a light, I just see a hat.
Any character in the show we wish we could kill off that we don't like? Mine.
Oh.
No, I'm kidding.
We love your character. Your character is like, we get to see what Tamaki was going to be like when he grows up. We're like, oh.